I've been out traveling the past month, and every single day while I've been out, I've made at least $1,000 to $3,000 minimum. Some days $5,000, $6,000 plus. And it's all thanks to how I set up my agency. My business doesn't rely on me. Instead, it works for itself and it makes money without me even having to touch it. And so don't worry, I'm not gonna gatekeep anything. I'm gonna be breaking down today exactly how I've done it and how you could set up your own agency so that it makes money while you sleep. So that being said, let's get into it. So step one, we need to outsource your delivery, aka your services, right away. Even if you're a complete ground zero beginner, you don't have clients yet, you don't have any money, that doesn't matter, because all we're gonna do is we're gonna outsource all our services to what we call a white label agency. So example, if a client pays me $2,500 a month for social media services, it could be meta ads, SEO, short form content, whatever it is, all I wanna do is I'm gonna take that $2,500, pay a white label agency $500 to do all the services under my name. And so that way I make $2,000 a month passively without doing any work. And so I get a lot of questions asked about this. Like number one is like, why wouldn't the white label agency just talk to the client directly and make money directly through the client? Well, here's the thing. White label agencies exist because it's literally clients handed to them on a silver platter. They don't have to spend money on ads. They don't have to spend time or energy outreaching or trying to reach out to clients. Like it's literally just free money handed to them. And so number two, it's also because most of these white label agencies, they might be good at their services like SEO, short form content, etc., but they might not be that great at landing clients or taking sales calls or reaching out to clients. And so they need other agencies to get clients for them, and they'll be able to fulfill the services under your name because you landed the client, which is the hardest part. And so don't worry, if you're following me, you most likely have all the right strategies that makes landing clients easy. And if you don't worry, I host a free class every Thursday, breaking down exactly how to start and scale your agency to 10K a month online without even having to touch it. So don't worry, if you're not confident in landing clients, just come to the class by signing up with the link in my description. But anyways, outsourcing your services is a win-win-win on all three sides. The client wins because they get their business problem solved and they see an ROI. The white label agency wins because they get extra clients at scale with no additional work. And most importantly, you win because you make money passively without even having to fulfill any of the services. And so I know I'm saying to get a white label agency, but how exactly do you find one? So pretty simple. Just post on Facebook groups or Upwork saying you're looking for a white label agency to fulfill ABC service for XYZ niche. And then boom, a ton of white label agencies are gonna hit you up. They're gonna comment on those posts asking to work with you. And so how do you tell which white label agency is legit and which one isn't? Just look at the results. If their results and their clients are amazing and they're believable and you could actually talk to their clients and you could actually ask your clients about that agency, then they're probably a legit agency and they'll be able to deliver great results for your clients as well. And if you want an extra helping hand in this, in my free class I mentioned earlier, I also talk about how you could white label my agency. And that way you can be 100% confident you're outsourcing to an agency that actually delivers great results. And most importantly, you'll be 100% certain when you hop on sales calls, when you reach out to prospects, because you know you could actually deliver them amazing results because you have the best agency to outsource to. So again, sign up with the link in my description for the free class and let's move on to the next step. So once you outsource your delivery, the next stage is outsourcing your outreach. And by the way, if you're a beginner, outreach means you reaching out to prospects. And so reaching out to prospects is probably the biggest time consumer for most beginners because it takes hours upon hours, sending countless DM after DM, seeming so monotonous, seeming so boring because it's literally just sending the same message over and over and over every single day, just trying to find prospects who are gonna bite on it. So instead of us having to do the work, it's a lot better to just outsource it. And so how do we do that? So I got the free route and I got the paid route. So the free route, if you're broke and you don't have a lot of time. So example, when I first started my agency, I was still interning at Microsoft. So I was grinding like 8 to 10 hours a day on my internship. So I didn't have time to send outreach DMs myself. So all I did was I hit up my broke college friends who were looking for a job that summer, and I just had them send the outreach messages for me. So instead of me having to send the DMs and spend all that time sending the DMs, my friends did all the work for me. And so every client I close, I would just pay them 10% commission. So that way there's no risk on my end because I'm not paying them anything up front, but I still have all the time freedom to focus on other things. And also, by the way, my friends win because they wouldn't be making any money without me because they don't have a job, but you just gave them a job. So even though there's no money guaranteed, if you give them the right strategies and you give them the right scripts, they'll be making money, no problem. And so if you want the outreach scripts to teach your friends so they'll be able to make money and most importantly make you money, again, I'm going over that in the free class this Thursday. Again, just sign up with the link in the description and let's move on to the paid route. And so for the paid route of outsourcing your outreach is hiring a virtual assistant from the Philippines for $3 an hour. So why do we do the Philippines? I've tested everything. I've tested people from Pakistan, India, Philippines, and Filipinos just honestly work the hardest. They also just have the most honest work, meaning that they don't lie to you, they don't slack off. And most importantly, by the way, they're just very detail oriented. I'm not trying to be racist. Like that's literally what I found working with all different types of virtual assistants and firing a bunch until I found the perfect ones. So just trust me on this. Again, don't cancel me. I'm just speaking experience on who I personally work with. And so how exactly do you hire a virtual assistant for $3 an hour from the Philippines? Just go to Upwork and make a job posting. And so I'm not going to gatekeep. I'm going to give my exact Upwork post away right now. So here's the job post. So for the title, I have virtual assistant to organically grow my client's Instagram plus warm outreach plus follow-up. So the reason why I have this fancy title is because I want virtual assistants who have experience growing on Instagram and reaching out to clients. So that's why I put that title right there. And so for the description, I just say little to no experience required, require solid English speaking skills, need 2 shifts per day, start separated by 2 to 3 hours a day of the following: follow ideal prospect, like first 3 recent posts, genuine comment on first 3 recent posts, DM them simple copy and paste outbound message. And then number 2, warm outreach shift, 10 DMs per shift, 1 shift per day. 3, follow-ups every 2 to 3 days. We'll go in depth how to do everything with my on-ramp process, total 20 hours a week. And then I put my Instagram just so that people could see I'm legit. And so if you're lazy, just copy and paste the exact description I just gave you. If you have specific instructions you want your VA to do, you can also put that in the description right there. And so you're gonna have a bunch of people reaching out to you. But once you find people who look legit, all you have to do is just go to their profile, see if they have good reviews, see if they have good referrals, then just simply message them. So I'm gonna go over an example of a virtual assistant I hired and what I messaged her. So example, this virtual assistant right here, she DM'd me her experience. And so then I messaged her, hey, just saw your application. Can you tell me more about your past experiences, clients, and results as a VA? And then she gave me all her experiences, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, okay, sweet. Can you send me some of your clients' Instagram ads? So like I said, if you could talk to people's clients, they're more likely to be legit because they have actual clients to back them up. So you want to ask for those. And then she gave me her clients' handles. And I'm like, okay, fantastic. So for the job, 2 shifts, morning and night of 25 cold outreach messages per shift, 1 shift of 10 to 15 warm outreach messages per shift. And then number 3, follow-ups 3 times a week. Is that doable for you? So I just want to set the expectations of time commitment. And she says, yes, that's good for me. And then I'm like, okay, sweet. And you're not the type of VA to slack off when I'm not watching, right? Again, the reason for this is I just want to make sure I'm working with VAs who are on point. So I want to set the expectation I'm going to be watching if they slack off. And then she says, no, I'm not. I always value integrity and prosperity. Even when no one is watching, I still do my job. And then I'm like, okay, fantastic. So the job is 16 hours a week. You cool at $2 an hour for a total of $32 a week. She says, sure, will do. When will I start? And then I say, okay, perfect. Give this instruction Loom video a watch and give me a summary of the task expected of you. And then I send a Loom video breaking down the exact instruction. And then she says, copy that. And then she gives me a detailed summary of exactly what I asked for. And so here's the thing. If your VA prospects give you like a short paragraph, maybe like 1 to 2 sentences of what to do, they probably didn't watch it and they're not taking this seriously. So what you want to look for in these answers is in-depth paragraphs. So example, this VA right here, she gave me 3 very in-depth paragraphs. So she probably paid more attention. She's taking this more seriously. And more likely when she gets the job, she'll be a lot more detail oriented than someone who gave me like a paragraph or 2 sentences. And then I'm like, sweet, that was perfect. If you're chosen, how soon can you get started? She said I could start anytime, just message me. And then I'm like, okay, sweet, you're hired. And then you also want to set a little frame. You don't want to seem desperate. You don't want to seem like this person's the only person you want to work with. So I always say, keep in mind, there's a wait list of 2 other VAs. So very important to do great work these next 2 weeks to keep the job. And again, this is so your VA doesn't slack off because she knows there's competition. And then I just said, just sent you the offer. She says, copy that, we'll do a great job. And then boom, she is hired. Then boom, all of a sudden I have a virtual assistant to send DMs. I personally like virtual assistants over hiring friends because virtual assistants, this is like their full-time job. This is not a side hustle. This is not a temporary job. This is their full-time job and they're relying on you to make them full-time money. Think about it. If you're paying someone $3 an hour for consistent work over and over and over that are more detail oriented than people in first world countries, why would you not do that? Right? So that's personally why I've been working with this VA for over 3 years now. So crazy journey with her. And if you want to get a similar VA that's loyal to you, that's working with you every single day for super cheap, thanking you for the job, this is the process to do so. And again, if you want the exact outreach script to teach your VA, just come to my free class this Thursday. Like I said, sign up with the link in the description and let's move on to the next step. Okay, now that we outsource your delivery through a white label agency, and we have also outsourced your outreach messages through a virtual assistant or one of your broke friends for a 10% commission, the next step is outsourcing your sales calls, right? This is how you actually make money. Right now, all your outreach messages are taken care of. So the last step to making this a fully automated machine that works by itself without you having to do anything is having people to take your sales calls to close deals for you, make you thousands of dollars per month without even having to look at your business. So this is going to be the hardest part. So listen up. So step one, we want to set up our application because hiring closers literally makes or breaks your business. And so I'm going to give you a rundown of what I do, but any mistakes in this process could cost you thousands of dollars per month. So listen very, very closely. So when we set up our application, we want to make it a video interview. That way you could see their charisma, that way you could see their tonality, their sub-communications, and make sure they have that sales riz, as I like to say, where they're not boring the prospect, but they're actually genuinely making the prospect interested and keeping them engaged. So all you want to do is set up an account on Video Ask. I believe it should only be about $20 to $40 a month, maybe $80 a month if you have a lot of applications, but it's worth it. And then you just want to set up a simple Video Ask interview. So I'm going to go over my Video Ask right now. So all you want to do for the first question is ask a question about what got you interested in closing for me and my team. That way the closers sell themselves why you're the right fit for them and why they should close for you. And for time's sake, I'm not going to play the videos because it's long, but you get the point. The second question you want to ask is how much hours available do you have open? And the reason you want to do this is because you don't want a closer you can only work 1 to 2 hours a day. You want that freedom, but you don't want your closers to have that freedom. You want your closers to be working all day, every day, so you don't. So you want closers with at least 5 to 8 hours available every single day to take all your sales calls for you. And trust me, this is the most important part of hiring is availability. All right, number 3, you want to ask their exact schedule in a specific time zone. So example, for me, I like to ask, what is your exact schedule in Central Time since I'm based in Chicago? Number 4, you want to ask about their past trainings. What I found with my best closers is they've always invested in some type of closing training or sales training, and that's why they got to the level they're at right now. All right, so if you're working with someone who hasn't invested in themselves, they probably won't be able to convince other business owners to invest in their own business either. So it's always really, really important. Hire people who've invested in themselves through sales training. Next up, you want to ask how much have they spent on training? And again, this is just a good indicator if they take their job seriously or not. Because all the best closers I've hired, they've invested $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, even $5,000 plus in their sales training. The higher the number, the better they usually are. Next up, you want to ask for results produced. Pretty self-explanatory. You just want to know if you're working with a beginner or someone experienced. And last but not least, you want to ask, what do they love about closing? And this just separates the great from the good. The good will probably just talk about, I want to make money, to be honest, blah, blah, blah. The great will talk about how they love transforming people's lives. They love influencing, they love working on their craft, etc. So you can really tell the difference between a great elite level closer and just a good or average closer. So once you have your application set up, all you want to do is post in different agency or sales or closer Facebook groups and make a quick job posting talking about how you're looking for a closer, and here's the application link down below. That's all you have to do. Optional, you can talk about how many sales calls are expected, maybe 5 to 8 calls a day. And you could also talk about potential earning commission of 10% commission per close. And you could also put your price point so that people know what exactly they're getting themselves into. All right, so once you make your Facebook group posts with the application link, you're gonna get a bunch of video interviews of potential closers wanting to work with your agency. All you wanna do is judge on 3 simple things. 1, do they have good charisma, right? Are their sub-communications on point? Is their tonality on point? Are they weird? Do you think they have the business riz, the sales riz, where they could actually influence your prospects? It's really, really obvious to tell. I can't really describe it, but example, if someone talks like me, or if someone talks like some of the best closers you know online, they're probably a good fit. Number 2 is their availability, right? If they only have 2 to 3 hours a day, probably not a great closer to work with. If they have 5 to 8 hours a day, amazing. Now that's someone you want to work with right there. And then number 3 is if they've invested any money on training, right? Even if it's like $10, even if it's $100, as long as they have some type of skin in the game with their own skill set for closing, it's a good closer you might be able to work with. And then from there is all you want to do is put your sales script on a Google Doc and then explain your sales script through a Loom video. And a Loom video is just a screen recording with your face on the bottom left. Go through all the steps, all the stages, and explain all your different objection handles that are specific to your offer. And if you already recorded your past sales calls, then send them a couple sales call recordings of people you've closed so that they could get a feel of your closing style and so that they can mimic your style and produce similar results. So all you want to do is out of all your video interviews, again, pick the people who have charisma, that have good availability, that have invested in their training, and you just want to message them through email, text, or on Instagram DMs that they moved on to the next round and to study the following script through the Google Doc and Loom video that you just made. And then from there, once they go through the sales script and they've gone through the sales training through the Loom video, then you just want to have them schedule a role play with you. And depending on how many people move on to the next stage, if they're trash on the role play, just cut them right away. Don't waste your time. If you don't have a lot of role plays scheduled with potential closers, keep training people until they get it right. So for me, me personally, because I have so many people applying for a closer position for me, I just cut people right away if they're not good the first role play, right? But back in the day when I didn't have as much applications and I didn't have a lot of people wanting to work for me, all I would do is I would record my role play sessions with these closers, and then I would send them a recording of the role play session through a private unlisted YouTube video, and I would just tell them, watch this recording and write down everything you need to improve on and then send it to me. And so this forces your potential closers to watch themselves, see what they did wrong, and when they're aware of their mistakes, they're more likely to fix it than going on to the next role play making the same mistakes. And I would just do that over and over and over until one of these closers eventually gets it right. And then finally, once I have 1 to 2 closers who got the script perfect, that's when I hire them, that's when I onboard them. And so how do I onboard them, by the way? I just set up a counter link through Calendly for one of my closers, and then I change my DM script that my VA or my broke friend for 10% commission is sending to my prospects, and I change it to book sales calls to my closers instead of booking sales calls to me. And so boom, once you outsource your delivery through a white label agency, you outsource your DMs through a virtual assistant or a broke friend for 10% commission, and you outsource your sales calls to a sales closer, you are in business nirvana, and your business makes money without you. And now you can travel like me and literally live life on your own terms, doing whatever you want, whenever you want, whoever you want, being able to travel, being able to provide for your family, all without having to touch your business, because your business works without you and you make money while you sleep. So obviously I made this sound a lot easier than it actually is. And so like I said, if you want to outsource your delivery to my agency, or you want my exact outreach DM scripts or my sales scripts to teach your virtual assistant, broke friend, or your sales closer, then come to the free class this Thursday, because I'm going to break everything down for you so you can do it for yourself or outsource it so you can make money, like I said, while you sleep. So just sign up with the link in my description. It's about to be lit, and I'll catch you over there.